I'm Jesse Redmond from LEEF Brands, and I'm here today with our CFO, Kevin Wilson. Kevin, what's happening, man?
Not much.
Well, it's an exciting time. We're out at Salisbury Canyon Ranch, and we're just days away from planting. So when you look around here, Kevin, 1,900 acres, what gets you most excited about planting the farm?
The scale, I mean, this thing is massive. You've been down to the back end. You've seen how big it is. You've seen, from the time you come into the gate all the way to come into the compound here, just how much acreage is out
Yeah.
there. And so, yeah, it's the scale. It's huge.
And so the ranch is 1,900 acres. We're not growing 1,900 acres of cannabis. How big is the cannabis permit right now?
187 acres. Of that, we're going to plant 65 acres this year. We're going to grow into the rest of it over the next, 1 year, 2 years. We have an additional, call it 100 acres in the back that we can apply for that we're planning on doing. So yeah, right now it's 187 acres, 65 of which will go in this year.
It's 65 twice, right?
65 twice, yeah. So we're going to plant a bunch of material now, hopefully harvest in mid to late June, then go in right behind it again for a fall harvest.
So if we have the ability to run 187 acres here, it sounds like we consume a lot of material each year. How are we currently sourcing material?
So over the last couple of years, we've worked with, between 200 and 300 farms, spot purchasing piles throughout the state. And so it's been a lot of running around, working with a lot of farms. We consume roughly 200 to 225 acres worth of material right now a year. So yeah, we're running around working with a lot of farms.
It sounds like a lot of work, but I'm guessing that's also a more expensive route than growing your own. What do input costs look like? Like how much are we paying for these pounds that we're sourcing from all those farms?
Yeah, it depends on like the line that it's going in. We have 3 lines of extraction that we primarily do, ethanol, hydrocarbon, and solventless. And so prices range anywhere from $20 to $35, $40 a pound on the inputs, depending on the line it's going into.
And how does that change here when we're growing our own material? Like how much will we see those input costs go down?
I think like from just a pure input perspective, we can grow anywhere between $5 and $12 per pound, again, depending on, the quality of which we're putting it in. So there's going to be a significant decrease. I think there's also the added positive impact of like knowing the genetics that we're running and being able to dial in what strains into, what lines and all that. So we're going to see a yield impact as well as a cost reduction.
Yeah, I've heard Micah mention this concept of a golden batch. Can you talk a little bit about why that's important, what a golden batch is?
So when the team knows what they're running and they know exactly, what knobs to turn and the temperatures and everything, it makes it just that much better. We get a higher yield, which means our effective cost goes down. And when we're running material from 10 different farms in a day, it's tough to really dial that in. But if we kind of know like, all right, great, it's all this material, this is how we're going to set the machines in order to run it, it becomes a little closer to that golden batch. So we can run all of our material. We know the preset, machine settings, if it were, in order to get that optimal yield, and that's the golden batch.
So when I hear lower input costs, the first thing I think is higher margins. I think one of the reasons that we want to have the farm is to improve the quality of a material, have greater control of the supply chain, but ultimately it's designed to improve margins. Can you confirm that I'm right, thinking lower input costs should shift our margins? And how do you see that rolling out over the next few quarters?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, right? If we're going from a $20, $30 pound down to a $5 to $12 pound, it would hopefully increase yields, then yes, margins are going to improve. I think the one thing that I would caution against is like, we're going to run 65 acres of material. We're not going to take that and completely replace the material that we're currently running. We're going to pepper that in, and we're going to start seeing like that impact over time. Like I said, we're going to harvest in June, call it 30 to 45 days to start manufacturing some of that product. So we should start seeing the impact of that spring harvest throughout the summer going into the fall. And then as we harvest the fall material, same thing, we're going to start seeing it tail into Q4 into Q1.
And the fall material likely can last us well into next year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to start to, like, that material is going to start to pepper off as we bring on the first crop of 2026 into the manufacturing facility.
And looking out, Kevin, to 2026, 2027, the goal is to get from 65 acres eventually up to the full 187 acre permit.
Yep.
So as we work through our material this year, we'll be planting in the spring, be doing it again in the summer, potentially even have more material next year.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the first half of this farm, as you drive into it, that's the 65 acres that we're planting now. And, you can see in the background, we're diligently working to get that plants in the ground any day now. The back half of this, which just goes on forever, that's the opportunity. We have the rest of the 187 acres kind of go out this way. We have an additional kind of splits like this, but we have an additional ability to apply for 100 acres down this way as well. And so in theory, call it 2028 or beyond, we have this additional 100 acres, it's 287, 300 acres that we have the ability to do. But yeah, we still have a long way to go between 65 and 187. Hopefully that'll happen in 26, 27 and beyond.
Well, great. Appreciate the conversation. We'll see you back here in a few months when it's harvest time.
Excited for that.